Sweet. Awesome. Pumped for a big call tonight.
Yes.
So are we done with the nasty storms, you think, or?
Yeah. Yeah. It did not pan out to do as much as, what we originally had thought. It did some in Southeast Indiana, but all the storms and the stuff overnight really held back, whenever it kind of steals the energy. And so there's not, dude, it's thermodynamics. It's in the atmosphere instead of in our body. I mean,
Yeah, right. It's
so
funny you mentioned that.
yeah.
That's a call in itself.
Right. Yeah. What's up, guys? We got a couple people rolling in. We'll wait. Give it. Let's do 7:01, Jesse. Let
Yeah.
as many people get in as we can.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, welcome everyone. If you want to let us know where you're listening from, if you want to let us know if you are doing the 12 weeks in a year, we are officially done with our first 12 weeks. So if you guys are tracking your score, let us know your score. I was a 93. Well, no. I was a 75 last week. Darn vacation. Yeah.
Hey, 75 still gets you a win.
Yeah, right.
Good
Awesome.
evening, guys.
Well, as people are flowing in, I want to kind of we're wrapping up this series on business. And last week I talked about how to have your customers be felt, seen, and heard, how to talk to different personalities, communicate with different personalities. Before that, Danny talked about, he had 7 tips for us, getting a vision of growth, playing the long game, exceeding expectations for customers, being efficient, being relatable, connecting people, and building a great team. Michael talked about, I think after Danny, on the psychology of problem solving. So I was up after that. Our people need to know that, hey, this is the problem that we solved. It was a very, very good sales calls. I would definitely, I'd encourage you guys, if you haven't seen any of these calls from this series, to go back and watch them. So that was super good. And now today, Michael has been talking to me about doing this topic, talking to Danny about doing this topic. And man, at first, my knee-jerk reaction was, no, I don't really believe in that kind of stuff. But then as he talked to me more and kind of called me out, and he says, yeah, I think you're doing this. What he was saying is, I'm doing self-sabotage. And I think he's right. I think I've been doing it in my fitness for quite some time now. I've invited a lot of folks onto this call because I think they're doing the same thing. So I think this is a very big deal in business, in personal life, just in overall. So, Michael, I'm really pumped about this topic, man. And I appreciate you shooting me straight. And dude, I am pen in hand because I want to correct this. I want to get out of this self-sabotage and be the best person that I can.
Yeah, man, I love it. Thank you. Thank you for that. And yeah, guys, I want to start off tonight with a note. I'm going to try to, I want to deliver this message with as much love and care as I can. But I also just want to preface to you that this call will really require a really deep dive, a really deep look into your life. You really have to, while I'm talking, before I start, I really want you to take off any blinders or guard or walls up, and understand that you might get offended during this call. I may offend you, not intentionally, not maliciously, and not to be, in a bad way. But I want you to understand that this call might offend you. Okay. But I think it can really, really help you. And the idea of self sabotage um, is essentially, it applies to every area of our life, but gosh, it applies so much to business and so much to our relationships and so much to our finances. It's unbelievable how often how many of us are literally ruining our own lives on a daily basis. And I'm not talking about like irreversible, unbelievable damage and you're pathetic and you're a loser and you don't do anything right. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the small things we do on a daily basis are adding up to things that where we look at 3, 4, 5, 6 years down the road, we're going, man, why isn't it happening? Why am I not there? Why am I not getting what what I've set out for? And it's in the small day to day, what I'm going to refer to tonight as autopilot. We are all in autopilot, myself included. Okay. I wake up. If you wanted to stalk me and kill me, it would be pretty easy to find and kill Michael Clark because I do the same thing in the same places every day. And as I'm diving into this topic, I'm thinking to myself, gosh, why do I do the same stuff every day at the same time in the same place for years? And I'm sitting here and I can't come up with a good reason. I don't know why I'm doing these things. And it all boils down to a version, a type of self-sabotage. And I want to get into this, okay? I want you to think about this tonight. I want you to write it down that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. What does that mean, you might ask? Well, what it means is that we pretty much become whatever it is that we think that we are, or whatever that we think about, whatever we believe, whatever version of whatever truth that it is, we become that. Let's say we're an entrepreneur and we're trying to run a business and start a business. And let's say we just don't, we love our business, but we just don't believe we're good salespeople. We just don't believe we have the ability to sell. We want to sell because we are an entrepreneur and we want to make money. And an entrepreneur is a salesperson, by the way. But we don't because we've continuously told ourselves now for 2 years that, well, I want to start a business, but I'm not good at sales. Well, you're right. You are not good because for the last 2 years, you've secretly said in your mind and to people that you're not a salesperson. And now the soul is dyed with the color of your thoughts. You have convinced yourself subconsciously for the last 24 months that you are not in sales. You want to be, but subconsciously you're saying that you don't want to be. And guys, people don't give this stuff enough weight in life. They think, well, no one else knows it. I lack confidence and I don't think I look good, but nobody else knows that. That's just for me. Well, you are literally programming your autopilot. So now your autopilot is operating in a state of you do not believe you're good at sales subconsciously. You're creating this reality subconsciously from your thoughts because that's your version of your truth, even though it may not even be true. And I'm going to get into that. Okay.
Dude, Michael, can I just add something real quick?
Yeah, please.
I've seen companies prey on this. They say, hey, come work for us. We don't sell. I know you guys don't want to sell. We're not salespeople here. And they prey on that. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. If you have a product and you're a company, you sell. Yep. So to your point, people are preying on people that have these insecurities and these issues. And it's horrible.
Yeah, it is. And, I just want to really encourage you guys right now that if you're looking for a breakthrough in your business life, your finance life, your relationships, the breakthrough might be very simply put as to what you're looking in the mirror and doing and saying to yourself. I want you to write this down, and Jesse, type this for me. You are where you are because of who you are. That's it. You're where you're at right now in your life because of the person that you are. Good, bad, indifferent, I don't know. But this is an ugly truth. And when I talk about being offended, this is one of the statements that might offend you tonight. And I say this with love, and I'm not trying to be malicious. Okay. But you look at your current circumstances in your life, they are because of choices that you have made. Barring maybe two things: a terminal illness that you cannot control. I understand. A family member, a freakish accident, someone got hit by a car and they got killed. Something, really outside of our control. For the most part, guys, 9 out of 10 things, 9.9 out of 10 things are where they are right now because of choices we've made in our lives. Okay, I want you to understand this. Whether you agree or not, your version of the truth, unfortunately, is probably not accurate. The real truth is coming from different angles on the outside, from people who are observing what it is that you're doing. And they can look back and go, man, what is Michael Clark doing right now? That is really stupid. You know what I'm saying? Why is he doing that? What is going on? And in my mind, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm the man. I know what I'm doing. I know everything, whatever. And so I want you to think about that your current circumstances are a reflection of your choices. It's very simple, but sometimes people have to say that for you to hear it, to hear it. You are where you're at because of choices that you've made. You could be on top of the world right now. You're killing it in the 5Fs, all areas. Why? Well, not because God decided, oh, good and faithful servant, I will bless you. You are just the, everything. Woo, here's the blessings. Hallelujah, Jesse Dale. No, it's actually because if we look back at what Jesse Dale has done for the last, 1,000 days, he's dotted his T's and crossed his I's. Or he's dotted his I's and crossed his T's, said that backwards. But he's making the right decisions. He's making the right choices. He's doing the right things. He's doing the things that maybe most people don't want to do. I'm just using it as an example. I'm not saying Jesse's perfect, but I'm just saying that people are where they're at because of the choices that they're making. Okay. So I want to ask you guys this question. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to pause here. And Jesse, I'll open it up for your feedback as well. But I want you guys to think about this when I say it. This is a question for you. So write it down. Okay. Do you ever get tired of building things in your life only to burn them right back down? Do you ever get tired of really working hard towards something and then you damage it? Okay. Maybe it's your body. Maybe it's your faith. Maybe it's your marriage. Maybe it's your bank account. How many times have you saved up a bunch of money and you're like, man, I'm very disciplined right now. I'm saving my money and I'm penny pinching. I'm watching everything. And then you just one day you're like, I'm going to buy this new whatever. And you blow your whole savings. And then you're like, oh, got to build it back up again. Why? Did the savings spend itself? Did the body put the weight on itself? Did it come out of thin air? Did the sales not come in because the stars did not align? Why didn't it happen? What happened there? So do you ever get tired of that? I want you guys to think about that. Do I ever get tired of building something and then I have to rebuild it again? Jesse, what are your thoughts on this?
It is emotionally exhausting. I think what you're saying is we have patterns that we repeat over and over. That my pattern is 2 weeks hard, great result, and then took the foot off the gas. And then there's like guilt, and there's dude, now I'm in the 2 weeks, and you're repeating. It's like you're treading water, but you're not really progressing forward, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Yeah, it is, and it's Jesse. What you just described that's self-sabotage. It's the patterns that we're in are self-sabotage based on our skewed versions of truth in this world. You see, what happens is when we do these things, we repeat these patterns in business and life and relationships and our finances, whatever it is, in our fitness. What we do is we blame other people and other things. Well, you don't know where I came from. My childhood was horrible. Well, you don't know what happened to me, or well, you don't know about the economy back in 08. And so we think of all these things to justify what it boils down to is our lack of discipline. That's what it boils down to. It's our lack of choosing what it is we're going to allow. Okay, so I want you to think about this. Viktor Frankl once said, he said that when we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. All right. So I heard that and I'm like, gosh, man, this goes great with the call because the situation is every 6 months, my bank account goes dry. Every 6 months, I gain 45 pounds. Every 6 months, the sales run dry. There's no leads. There's nothing closing. Every 6 months, I feel like I haven't prayed or read my Bible. And that you are not changing the situations because you're not changing who you are. Who you are is still happening. It's this cycle of self-sabotage. And I want to dive into how to stop this. I want to dive in how to recognize it and how to stop it. All right. And I want you to understand, I'm going to tell a quick story. All right. I want you guys to follow along. Okay. Because I'm going to read a little page here out of a book. I want you to follow this. It's critical for you to think about this. We're going to do a little exercise. Okay. Imagine you're holding a cup of hot black coffee. Suddenly, out of nowhere, someone bumps your elbow and the scalding liquid goes everywhere. It splatters across your bare arm, down your leg, all over the floor. The burning pain is intense and the mess it's everywhere. Your pants are completely ruined and you have a job interview in 20 minutes. You've got to change your clothes right now. Except you can't because you're in a Starbucks line. You're miles from home and your interview is 15 minutes away. You look at the guy who crashed into you and you say, seriously, dude? He shrugs his shoulders and mutters a barely audible apology, quickly walking away like he doesn't care that it just happened to you. Your heart is racing. Your body is plushing with anger and frustration. Before subsiding to helplessness and then down to resignation, quitting, it takes ages to get this interview. You're screwed. You leave and head home. Now, that's you in this scenario. Now let's pretend like we're someone sitting in a corner and we just watched this happen. Okay? Now imagine you're someone else who is watching the same scene from the corner of Starbucks. Instead of the participant in it, you're now an observer. You're just watching the outside situation. You're quietly enjoying your morning tea and muffin when a guy comes in and catches the corner of your eye. He looks agitated and he's very nervous. He orders a coffee, reaches for his wallet, takes out his credit card, and then he drops it. He shouts, "Damn it," he proclaims in a biting tone. He pays and steps to the side past several other people between him and the pickup counter, cutting them all. "Timmy," says the server. "Ah, my name's Tommy," he retorts. Tommy grabs his cup briskly, turns, obviously not looking where he is headed, and bam, he smacks right into a young guy who didn't see him coming. Tommy's coffee explodes everywhere. "Seriously, man?" exclaims Tommy. The entire room silences as everyone turns to find the source of the drama. The young kid who he ran into is clearly embarrassed and trying to get away from this spectacle, softly apologizes and walks away. And that's the scene. Here's the two different things. Tommy's version of the truth was he's the victim in this situation. The coffee spilt down him. He's got it ruined his outfit. It burnt his leg, and damn the luck, Tommy's having a horrible day, man. Everybody's against Tommy. He's got the job interview, but the guy who saw Tommy come in, or Timmy, whatever his name is, saw him come in, sees this agitated guy. He's not being nice. He drops his credit card. He cuts people. He turns around in a hurry and bumps into someone else. This guy sees it for the real truth that it is. Tommy came in already agitated, man. You're in a no-win situation with Tommy. But see, Tommy's in a victim space. He thinks that it happened to him, right? Tommy quit instead of going to the interview and telling the person that he's going to get the interview with, hey, I'm a little embarrassed. I spilled some coffee on me. No big deal. I'm still here for the interview, man. I'm going to kill it. No, he quit. He went home. So he continued to sabotage himself in the situation. And the guy from the outside saw it as, man, Tommy really screwed himself here. But Tommy thinks that everyone else screwed him. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Does that make sense, Jesse, this story here?
100%.
So the reason I tell this story to you guys is your truth and the truth are not the same, even though you have designed your life around the idea that they are. Your truth and the actual truth are two different things. Okay. And let me explain what I mean by this. I've created a graphic for you guys. Okay. Let me pull this up and share the screen here. You see that?
Yep.
Okay. So your truth, this is the vicious cycle of self-sabotage. Okay. We're going to think about Tommy, or we can think about anybody. Let's pick on Jesse. Let's say that Jesse just is, he just keeps losing weight and getting fat and losing weight and getting fat. And, he's just like, gosh, I wake up and I get fat, or and whatever. Okay. Your personal skewed experience of the circumstance, what happens is you develop this victim mentality. Okay. You are like, man, I can't catch a break, just can't, my bank account just never can stay where it needs to stay. Gosh, I sure can't keep that 10 pounds off. Gosh, my wife, she doesn't want to be romantic with me. Gosh, she never wants to sleep with me or go on dates with me. Oh, poor me. I work my butt off, but my wife doesn't love me. No, here's the thing. Your version of the truth is skewed. You're looking at it through your same pair of glasses that you've been looking at it through for 35 years. And they're broken. They're not right. My glasses are not right in my life. What I'm seeing things through are not right. I see it through my own skewed version of my truth. And I justify this in my head because I want to make myself feel good, right? So what happens is you condition your mind to believe the version of your truth. It's like I said at the beginning of the call, you're an entrepreneur and you want to be in sales, but you don't believe you're a salesperson. Or you are a newly married couple and you want to be a really good husband, but you don't believe you're a good husband. You look at Pastor Danny and you're like, gosh, I could never be like Pastor Danny. He's the best husband there is. I couldn't do it. I could never be like Jesse Dale. Him and Erica have the best marriage I've ever seen. No way. That's not me. Well, that's your skewed version. That you're programming your mind to actually believe that you can't do it. And so what does that do? Well, number 4, you've conditioned your mind to believe this. And now your autopilot, what I talked about at the beginning, is formed from your skewed version of the truth. See, for Tommy, every day Tommy just functions as if people bump into Tommy and they knock coffee on him. And he can't catch a break. Tommy can't get to the interview on time because, he drops his stinking credit card, right? Here's the thing. Had Tommy made a different choice that day when he woke up, his day would have gone completely different. Let me explain this to you. Tommy wakes up, he has 2 choices. One, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm so scared. Everything depends on today. And if I fail, I may screw up my entire life. And gosh dang it, I'm always in these situations and the world's always against me. And I'm so sick and tired and never getting my break. Blah. And so that's Tommy's first train of thought, right? Or it could have been, dude, Jesse, I'm so excited. I have a job interview today that could change my life, and I'm going to crush it. I'm going to dress sharp. I'm going to press my clothes. I'm going to shave. I'm going to stop and get me a hot, fresh coffee. And I might even bless the guy next to me and buy his coffee too. And I'm ready to rock and roll today. Right. And so that's a totally different approach. I'm telling myself something totally different. Right. Because from the outside looking in, the way they saw Tommy's situation was not the way Tommy saw his situation. So I'm going to pause there. Jesse, is this tracking? Am I making sense? I want to make sure I'm not getting off
Yeah,
track.
100%. We just let somebody go yesterday. And one of the reasons is, and I was getting to know him, and he was like, man, this last job, it just didn't work out. The owners, they were crazy. They didn't know anything. And he had told himself this story. And when he's telling me this story about how it's always everyone else's fault, he's almost like deterring me. I'm like, man, dude, this guy's either the most unlucky guy in the world, which we all know isn't true, but he's repelling me. So when we get caught in this cycle that you have up here, it's starting with the victim mentality, the skewed experience on the victim mentality, then the condition that you start believing these things. Sadly, team, people don't want to be around that.
Yep.
And you know what they're saying? They're not saying it to your face, but behind your back. Sadly, what they're saying is, "Oh man, I just don't want to be around Jeff. I don't want to be around Michael, man. Dude, that guy just tends to just be a black hole around him. Everything else is everything else's fault."
Yes.
And that's why bad things keep happening. That's why I fired the dude. Gosh, now he's going to talk to the next person. Oh, I was a star employee. No, if you were a star employee, you wouldn't keep getting let go. You know,
Dude, so it's so true. And in business, guys, because we all can agree we're in the alliance for business. We're all here to make our businesses better. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious for the most part. Guys, this stuff, please hear me when I say with as much love and compassion as I have in my body, this stuff matters to the core. This is the core foundation to your life. How you see yourself and how people see you matter. It just matters.
yes.
It's just in your business, your success, whether you're an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter, is all determined on this principle right here. And if you cannot grasp this, you've got to learn how. And I'm going to show you right now. I hope this changes something for you. I really do. Okay. So here's how we change it. Okay. Remember, I said uh, if we can't are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. All right. So self improvement starts with choosing the truth, not your truth. Let me give you an example. Okay, this is where you have to get pen and paper. You've got to sit down and go, okay, I want to lose 40 pounds and I want to keep 40 pounds off. Okay. Your truth is, I'm going to cut a little bit here on the sodas. I'm still going to go out and hang with the guys and the friends on the weekends. And I'm still going to eat out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because I have to have a life. But, and then I'll do good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday is a toss up, but I'm going to make a change. And, you lose a couple pounds. And then next thing you know, you gain 5 or 6 pounds. This is an analogy just from weight loss. But see, that's your version of the truth. You think that by doing that it's going to work for you. You think that if you do the keto diet, it's going to change your life, or the Atkins diet, or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. It can be any method of whatever. The truth is you eat too much food. I just eat too much food. I drink too much alcohol. Right? That's an example in weight loss. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about saving your savings account. or the money that you spend. You bring in $5,000 a month. Let's just say $5,000 a month is your blow money, your spending money, whatever. And you look at your checks and balances each month, and you're constantly spending about $5,500. And you're like, gosh, I don't understand. I don't ever have any money. Where's my money at? I make 5,000. I got all this extra. Why is it not here? Your version of the truth is you don't think you have a spending problem. You don't, it doesn't really register to you. You think you're spending the problem is you're maxing it out. And the truth is, if a financial expert looked at your bank statements, they would be like, oh my gosh, my head's going to blow. You spend every last dollar that you have, and so the truth is you have a spending problem, right? So what I mean by choosing the truth is you have to look at the situation that you're in truthfully. If you are in a situation right now in your life that you do not like and is not serving you well, what's the truth behind it? Why are you not liking it? If you don't like the money you're making, why? If you don't like your marriage, why? What have you done? And I noted next to my notes here on the screen, this comes from a version of extreme ownership. I don't know if you guys ever read the book Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink.
Great book.
When he starts the book out, you know what he says? He talks about a situation of friendly fire between two Navy SEALs. A Navy SEAL shoots another Navy SEAL. Jocko Willink didn't actually have the gun. He didn't shoot the Navy SEAL, but he was the commander of the team. And so he had to say the shooting, the friendly fire happened because of him, even though he didn't shoot anyone. That's extreme ownership. You have to say you're overweight because you overeat. You have to say you have no money because you have a spending problem, right? You have to say your relationship with Jesus is suffering because you don't pray, not because Jesus doesn't love you. That's not why you have a problem with that relationship. Okay, so I just want to try and make sure you understand what it is I'm saying. You form your day around these truths. That's what you do. You know that if you have a spending problem, you have to stop spending money. You know that if you don't have enough money, you need to work harder to make more money. So your day has to be structured around working harder, or eating less, or saving more, or praying more. Whatever your situation is, you know this. You have to function. So this part of this call, this exercise requires you to really, like I said, deep dive into your life and write down the problem and write down the cause, the real cause. And if you really want the truth, maybe you should ask your spouse or your friend. Maybe they'll give you a really good truth. Okay. And sometimes you're not going to like it. It's just, it sucks. It happens to all of us, it's just part of life. You form your day around this. What happens is you're ending the cycle of self-sabotage, because what you've done now is you have identified the problem and you've acknowledged it. You have said out loud, I know I keep saying I'm not a salesperson. I have to stop saying this. Today, I'm going to start working towards being a salesperson. I'm going to pick on Jesse for a second. I know Jesse knows now that he can win the state title for Mr. Indiana. I told him that he could, and he knows that he can. And so now he's going to start doing what it takes to win it. He wants to win that. It's a goal that he's always had. He knows he can do it, right? He knows he can. And so now he's just going to set up his day and recondition his mind around the truth of what it takes to win the state title. He's going to do what he has to do that, right? So your mind starts to recondition itself based on this new truth that you've brought into it. You're bringing this into your life as a new truth and a newfound tool, right? And guess what happens? This is where the magic happens, baby. This is where it gets exciting. Your new autopilot is formed from the truth, because what you start doing every day is small little things that are coming from the new truth. If you know that if you spend $25 less per day for 30 days, that you're going to bank whatever that comes out to be. Let's just say it's I don't know, $1,500. I don't know the math. You know that you're just going to swipe your card 25 bucks less each day. You're acknowledging it and you're telling yourself, remember, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. You're telling yourself that you're not going to swipe that card. You're accepting this. 750. Thanks, John. You have already spoken this into existence, and you're functioning from that new truth. And so your autopilot is being reprogrammed by the new truth. Okay. Jesse, I'm going to pause there, and I've got about 5 minutes left. Do you have, what are you
Got
thinking
a
right now?
question, but I think on point two, I don't want people to graze this over. You got to sometimes get around people outside of your circle to get the truth. Because sadly, sometimes the people in your circle are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you're doing everything right. You gotta live." That's what people have been telling me. Dude, you already look great. You gotta live, man. Come on, man. Vacation. You gotta celebrate. And they have been telling me, just validating my version of the truth. But that's not the truth. The truth is there's guys that have way more adversity in front of them than me that have won the state title. Way more. So if you're curious, am I telling myself a lie? What is the truth? Get around people that have what you want and ask them to tell you their story. I guarantee you're going to be wowed. Like if you don't know Michael's story and you're just looking at him now and he's like, yeah, well, his truth must be nice. Ask him his story one day. Text him and you'll hear his story and you'll be like, well, there goes my excuses in the world of finances and building a business. So it's important that you get around people that are going to tell you the truth, not your validating points that you might want to hear.
Great point. I see a comment here from Erin I want to address real quick. She says, how do you prioritize your truth if there are several areas needing improvement? I get so overwhelmed and find myself shutting down, and then the self-sabotage starts. Erin, it's a great question. Such a good question. And I don't know that I really have a glaring answer for you because I do this too. I do the same stuff. But I would say that if you run it the way God wants you to, I think you might do well here. And what I mean by this is we kind of look at the umbrella of the way that the Jesus says we should run our home. And it kind of comes through God first, wife, spouse second, kids and job come after that. If we kind of run it in that hierarchy, I'm sure maybe Danny would say something different, Jesse. I don't know. But if we're putting God first and what he wants for us, and then we're putting our spouse right there below it, and then our kids and our jobs, I think if we can prioritize it that way, maybe it'll help. I try to look at it that way. I don't always get it right. You know, I try to look at what is going to move the needle for me. I guess what I mean by that is if I know that my self-sabotage is hurting my checking account and I need to pay my bills, I'm going to put that towards the top because that's going to create a lot of stress in my life. Maybe you could prioritize it in what's the most stressful to you, perhaps. What's causing you the most lack of sleep at night?
Yeah, I think that's great. Michael, you told me the other night, Aaron, you're gonna go through seasons of imbalance to correct things in your life that you want to correct. So,
yes,
like exactly what Michael said, find which area is anchoring you the most. Maybe it's finances, fitness, faith, fulfillment, family, and go all in on that area. Because
yes.
what happens is people say they're saying, I'm going to be well-rounded and I'm just going to go in on all of the F's. And it doesn't work that way. So find the weakest link and attack that weakest link.
Here's a good part out of the book. And it says, your truth is not the truth to anyone but you. And if your truth does not light you up, it might be time for you to come up with another one. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
If your truth's not doing it for you, It may be time to come up with a new truth. If you're going through a cycle of being broke every 90 days, your truth is false. You know, and so, guys, again, I don't say all this stuff tonight to make you leaving the call feeling like a loser. Okay. It's not my intention whatsoever. But I say all this because I do this stuff. I sabotage myself all the time based on my own skewed versions of reality. It's just not even accurate. It's not even real. The final quote I'll leave you with is from a guy named Arthur Schopenhauer. Okay. And he says this: every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. This is an error in the intellect. Okay. What I mean by this is your version of the truth may have a serious ceiling on it, a serious block in it, because your intellectual intelligence is wrong. You think, here's what you think: there's no way I could weigh 50 pounds less. I'm big boned. There's no way I could make 100,000 a year. I can never make it. There's no way, guys, here's in our business, in my business, we used to have a goal. True story. Our goal used to be, we had to make $500 a day. That was our goal. We really needed 500 a day. Do you know what our goal is now? Like when our goal was 500 a day 13 years ago, 12 years ago, I thought there's no way I'm going to ever do this. There's no way I can make 500 a day. And now if I don't make 13,000 a day, I'm bummed out. And right now we're aiming for 20,000 a day. That's our new goal right now. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to say, I used to think 500 was not obtainable. I used to think I couldn't have a nice physique and a good looking body, and I was always going to be kind of fat a little bit and have a little bit of extra skin. I used to think I couldn't have a business that's potentially taking over the industry that I service. And now all these things I found out are not true, because I was just looking in the field of my own vision. And as Jesse said, there are a lot of guys that have won that title that have had way harder circumstances than he's had.
100%.
And so it's like, man, okay, well, I don't have any excuses anymore. And my version of the truth is no longer valid. Okay. So, guys, that's the call tonight. I hope this was a blessing to you. I hope that you feel challenged and that you are looking at ways to change your versions of the truth so that your autopilot is serving you. Because if your autopilot isn't serving you, it's self-sabotage by your own choices and your own truths. And I don't want that for you, because it's very hard to succeed. Any questions tonight before I wrap this up? Anything at all? Someone said, what book is it? Chris Dickens asked. The book is titled Stop Doing That, SHIT, Stop Doing That. Okay. And it is by Gary John Bishop. Okay. Great book. It's really, really good. And it'll change your life. It'll change your life, because it just pushes you to ask yourself very hard questions and do a lot of self-reflecting, a lot of self-assessment with this. So,
Michael, I appreciate tonight's call, man. Great delivery. And yeah, man, it's just right to the point, dude. So thank you for this. This is good stuff.
Guys, I appreciate it. If you don't mind, I would love if you guys would post about us more on social media, promote us, talk about the call, put us on your story, post it on your Facebook or your Instagram, talk about the Alliance and how it's helping you and what it maybe has done for you as we continue to try and grow it. So have a wonderful week, guys, and see you back here next week.
All right. See you guys.
See y'all. Bye.